20, 13, 7 seconds.
That day the FBI agents arrested a man in the middle of a church service at St. Anthony, New York. The man is Ezekiel Manning, a rich bastard who would do anything to profit his business. He has been indicted many times accusations. Bribing, falsifying documents, orchestrating the burning of slums and even selling weapons to terrorists, but he always got away. He is currently being held on a charge of murder. But as before, Manning's hired the best lawyers and paid high bail so he was allowed to go under house arrest. But he is now in dire straits situation because the prosecutor managed to get a witness who saw him commit the murder. The witness was Nick, and this young man is already under the tight control of London Interpol officers led by Agent Simmons. They head to a secret place where Nick is scheduled to testify at the Manning trial in New York via video conferencing. Manning's was of course not present in court. He is under house arrest and only represented by his lawyers, but from his home he and his daughter kept secretly in contact with Agent Bryant, the Interpol officer he had bribed to eliminate Nick. While on the streets of London, a female courier gets an order to deliver a package. She has no idea what's in the package. All she knows, she has to get to the location as soon as she could. It turns out that the location is a place where Nick is hidden. She meets Agent Simmons and is surprised when the officer takes her to a room and asks for her identity. It turns out that the package she brought was a video conferencing device. Unexpectedly, the device emits cyanide which kills all Interpol agents in the room. Apparently this is engineered by Agent Brian and Agent Simmons on Manning's orders. They both had planned to set up as if the courier had killed Nick and all the Interpol agents before eventually Simmons shot her. But beyond calculation, Nick, who was the main target of murder, was still safe because he was in the toilet, and beyond Simmons' calculation, under her jacket the courier was wearing a bulletproof vest. She then went to find Nick and took him. At first Nick didn't believe her, but when he saw the woman shot and dropped Agent Simmons, he then followed her. On motorcycle, both try to escape as soon as possible, but Brian and his men stood on the way. Don't have a lot of time. Agent Brian went to the CCTV room and shot the officer there. Through microphone he asked the courier immediately give up Nick because all the ways are locked out already. Brian's men started searching every corner looking for them. Now their situation is really hard. A number of rude men hunting them with weapons ready to explode, while the courier doesn't have any weapon to fight. Nick, who is much afraid, go with no direction without following the courier, says, to make him calm this beautiful woman, then wearing him her bulletproof vest. While at a New York court, judge delays the Manning's case because the weighted witness don't appears through video connection. Agent Brian is even more trouble when Robert, his boss at the FBI, asks questions about the situation there. Agent Robert tells that he will send an additional team in an hour. It's of course would be serious problem for Brian. The plan to kill Nick can be fucked. Back to the parking basement. This courier doesn't look like an ordinary person. She fooled one of their hunter easily and takes his weapon. Unfortunately, the weapon is a smart gun which can only be used by the person whose fingerprint has been coded in that weapon. She then looked at a car and tried to escape with. Unfortunately,
they're not here.
Agent Brian feels starting run out of time. He consider his men are slow, so he called a notorious killer. While the courier and Nick hid in a room, the courier told Nick that she was formerly a member of the special force who deserted from the troop after seeing her brother died on the battlefield. Later on, Brian's men detected their position. They immediately escaped through the air ventilation to the roof of the building, but the killer was waiting there. He shot Nick. The young man was hurt because the vest which he wore couldn't resist a high-caliber bullet. Manning contact Brian. He is out of patience that says if Brian can't kill the rabbit in 3 shots he should stay home rather than hunting, because it was really shamed. Hearing that Brian changed strategy, he offered the courier $500,000 money, but she didn't give a damn.
I'm your worst nightmare. Annihilate all of you. Try and grind your bones to dust.
She kept Nick in a car trunk and gave him a small knife for protection. She then turned off the electricity so whole the building was dark. Intelligently she wore her helmet, which has a night vision equipment, and start hunting back these people. The courier then turned the electricity on, for it will reset all locking commands so the exit door could be opened. Unfortunately, when she was moving, killer shot and hurt her leg. But while holding pain, she continued to take her motorcycle, while the killer used drones to hunt her. She managed to destroy it. But unexpectedly, when woke up, she found herself sitting bound in a seat. Brian forced her to show where Nick was, but even though being tortured, she didn't give a word. Then the corrupted agent changed his trick. He threatened Nick, saying that if Nick didn't show up in 30 seconds, the courier would die by a car hit.
You come out now. 20, 13, 7 seconds.
Nick appears at the right time, while the courier is silently removing the bond. And when Brian is going to shoot Nick, the courier quickly stabs Brian with a screwdriver. They quickly hide, and the seek and hide scene comes back. Brian hunts Nick and the killer hunts the courier. Both shot each other until the bullet's out. And now they were facing with empty hands. Even with the condition of wounded leg, the courier faced this cold-looking man fearlessly. Inevitably, she was blessed with no mercy. While Nick successfully stabbed Brian, the agent got really angry. He's been pointing his gun at Nick's head. The courier brought Nick to the hospital. And in New York, Ezekiel Manning's arrested by Agent Robert.
We're actually here to move you out.
But 36 hours later, Nick woke up and found Agent Robert stood near him.
Good morning, Nick.
He asked who's the woman that helped him. Nick answered he didn't know her name. Agent Robert then called someone. Shortly he returned to Nick's treatment room and told the guard to step away.